Welcome to This Explainer. Look, I want you to settle in and really listen closely today, because we are tearing down the tapestries. We are shattering those heavily romanticized illusions of the past that have been fed to us for generations. Because the truth? History isn't just a neat little collection of dates and royal portraits. It's a raw, unvarnished testament to human survival.
I mean, we've all seen the Hollywood myth on the left, right? The gallant knights in shining armor, sweeping romances, grand candlelit castles. But the historical reality over on the right? It was a visceral, sensory nightmare. If you were actually dropped into the past, you wouldn't be attending some grand ball. You'd be battling fleas in your bed, choking down gloopy, mysterious pottage, and just hoping you didn't die of rampant dysentery before your next birthday.
So, here is the roadmap for our historical anthology today. We're going to cover the brutal medieval reality, Catherine's ruthless rise, the mystery of the Red Queen, Frida's canvas of pain, and finally, the true human legacy.
Starting off with Section 1, the brutal medieval reality. Okay, let's dive right into this. Let's place ourselves directly into the freezing, bug-infested reality of the year 1325. Just look at this grim medieval morning routine. Step 1, you wake up. Your mattress is basically half-rotted straw, it smells like a barn floor, and it is absolutely teeming with fleas and bed bugs. Privacy? Yeah, that's a total myth. Your whole family, and honestly maybe some livestock, are right there in the room with you. Step 2, nature calls. You use a wooden bucket, and then you literally hurl it out the window into the street, shouting "Gardez-vous," which is Old French for "watch out below." Step 3, you need a drink, but the water is actively trying to murder you with parasites, so you drink weak, small beer, and yes, even the kids drink it. Finally, Step 4, breakfast. It's a thick, gloopy stew called pottage that has been simmering in a pot with completely mystery ingredients for weeks on end.
And that is just the morning. If your tooth aches, well, there are no dentists, just barber surgeons pulling molars with iron pliers and zero anesthesia. Your day consists of backbreaking farm labor from sunrise to sunset. If you happen to get sick, doctors believe your four humors are out of balance, so they prescribe bloodletting with dull blades or leeches. Food is so scarce that desperate peasants bulk up their bread with sawdust or toxic rye fungus. And the justice system? It's basically a public execution acting as the medieval equivalent of cable TV. It was quite literally a slow-motion endurance test under the ever-watchful eye of a church that demanded absolute obedience.
40. I really want you to let that sink in for a second. If you made it to the age of 40 in the Middle Ages, you were practically a celebrity. You were considered a statistical miracle. Rampant infant mortality dragged the average life expectancy all the way down to the 30s. If you somehow survived the plagues, the famines, and the sheer physical toll of existing, you didn't retire. You just stopped showing up.
Moving on to Section 2. Catherine's ruthless rise.
So from the mud of the Middle Ages, we pivot forward to a woman who absolutely refused to be a victim of her era. Born in 1729 as Sophie, a minor German princess from an obscure royal family, her trajectory is just staggering. In 1744, at just 14 years old, she was summoned to the freezing, paranoid court of St. Petersburg in Russia to marry Grand Duke Peter. She was supposed to be a pliable pawn. Instead, she mastered the language, converted to Orthodoxy, and became Catherine. By 1762, recognizing her erratic husband, Peter III, was unfit to rule and dangerously alienating the army and church, she launched a brilliantly orchestrated, bloodless coup. Think about that. Without spilling a drop of blood on the battlefield, this foreign-born woman seized the entire Russian throne.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contradiction of her reign. On one side, she was the ultimate philosopher queen. She corresponded with Voltaire, bought Diderot's library, and wrote legal codes inspired by the Enlightenment. But on the reality side, she was an iron-fisted autocrat. When a man named Pugachev led a massive peasant rebellion promising to end serfdom, Catherine didn't negotiate using Enlightenment ideals. No, she crushed it ruthlessly, had him beheaded in a cage, and actually expanded serfdom to maintain the absolute loyalty of her nobles. She walked a razor-thin tightrope between visionary progress and pure survival. And her survival meant Russia's expansion. She expanded the empire by a staggering 200,000 square miles. She completely remade the map of Europe entirely on her own terms, securing warm water ports, swallowing up Crimea, and pushing into Poland. She didn't just survive a vicious male-dominated world, she completely conquered it.
Which brings us to Section 3, the mystery of the Red Queen.
We are leaving the freezing palaces of Russia for the humid, overgrown depths of the Chiapas jungle in southern Mexico back in 1994. Here, an astonishing discovery was made inside Temple 13. Archaeologists unsealed a pristine, untouched Maya tomb. Inside a limestone sarcophagus, they found a royal woman's skeleton utterly drenched in a shocking crimson powder. This powder, as you can see defined here, is cinnabar. It's a highly toxic mercury sulfide. To the ancient Maya, this vibrant red wasn't just a color, it was sacred. It symbolized blood, rebirth, and the life force connecting the human and divine realms. Bathing a corpse in this lethal powder meant she was being prepared for deification, an ultimate divine transition right into the underworld.
But who was she? That is the central, haunting question. She wore a magnificent jade funerary mask, mirroring the exact contours of her skull. She was surrounded by jade necklaces, obsidian blades, and pearls. Everything screamed supreme royalty. Yet there was no name inscribed on the sarcophagus. No glyphs on the walls identified her. The silence was absolute.
While her name isn't carved in stone, the archaeological evidence strongly points to one identity: Zakbu Ahau. Her tomb is directly adjacent to the famous Temple of the Inscriptions, which is the resting place of Pakal the Great, the mighty king of Palenque. Only Pakal and the Red Queen were buried with such intense cinnabar coverage. By placing her beside him with these supreme royal offerings, it suggests a deliberate cosmic feminine balance: sun and moon, king and queen. It proves that ancient Maya women were not just silent consorts. They wielded immense diplomatic, dynastic, and spiritual power.
Let's move to Section 4, Frida's Canvas of Pain. Now we enter the vibrant, yet deeply painful world of Mexico City in the early 20th century to meet a woman who literally weaponized her own suffering. Born in 1907, Frida Kahlo's life changed violently in 1925 when the wooden bus she was riding collided with a streetcar. She was impaled by an iron handrail, her spine fractured in 3 places, and she was covered in gold powder that had exploded on impact. Forced to abandon her dreams of medicine, she was trapped in a body cast, completely immobile. So, her mother rigged a mirror above her bed, and Frida began to paint. By 1929, she married the famous muralist Diego Rivera, launching a chaotic, passionate partnership. And skipping ahead to 1953, her health was so deteriorated she was told she couldn't attend her first solo exhibition in Mexico. Her response? She arrived by ambulance and was carried in on a stretcher, defiant right to the end.
30. That is the number of surgeries Frida endured in her lifetime. Think about the agonizing physical baseline of her entire artistic life. Her body was constantly betraying her. She wore steel corsets, she faced brutal infections, and she spent months in traction.
From that intense isolation, she birthed a deeply personal, brutal, and beautiful visual language. As she famously said, "I paint myself because I am so often alone and because I am the subject I know best." She absolutely refused to sanitize her suffering. She painted the ugliness of trauma, turning her broken body into an altar of self-expression.
And this brilliantly illustrates how she turned that deeply personal pain into immortal, global symbols of resistance. When she painted the broken column, presenting her spine as a cracked, crumbling pillar pierced with nails, it was a raw display of physical agony and endurance. Her choice to wear and paint herself in traditional Tehuana dresses wasn't just fashion, it was a loud statement of indigenous cultural pride and political defiance. And even her final work, A Still Life of Sliced Watermelons, inscribed with Viva la Vida, showcased a radical joy in the very face of death. She lived in the margins and forced the world to look her right in the eye.
Finally, Section 5, the true human legacy.
From the mud and misery of medieval peasants just trying to survive the morning, to Catherine the Great conquering an empire, to the Red Queen commanding sacred reverence in a toxic tomb, to Frida Kahlo painting her own fractured spine, the underlying thread is clear, isn't it? History is not a fairy tale. It is a gritty, unforgiving test. It is a testament to human endurance, adaptation, and absolute defiance against the odds.
So, as you sit there today, surrounded by central heating, modern medicine, and all the comforts our ancestors fought for, I want to leave you with this question. If history stripped away all our modern comforts today, what legacy would you fight to leave behind? Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the past, and I'll see you next time.